Hello and welcome to episode number 4 of the Council. I am Luke Anthony Walsh, and joining me is the Doris Herod to my King Herod. Look it up. It's Mr. Michael Brown.
I
Michael.
think I have to look them all up, to be honest. No, sometimes they're not quite so obscure.
Well, it's Doris Herod. I mean, there was King Herod in the Nativity, and then there was Doris. We will be cancelling all of your issues and your qualms with today's society, and be going through today's headlines. So, without further ado, let's crack on. I'm going to go first, and what I'm going to be cancelling first this week, Michael Brown, is Lad Baby, who are on course, possibly for a hat trick of Christmas number ones with songs about sausage rolls. I mean, they're so tacky and so stupid that they don't even deserve to be number one. They are an absolute mockery of the music industry and society.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I will say this, okay? So I don't really like uh, comedy songs, and I particularly don't really like parody songs because I think a lot of the time with parody songs, it's kind of like it's just you haven't even gone to the effort of coming up with your own lyrics, you know.
Mm.
Sorry, your own lyrics. You haven't gone to the effort of coming up with your own music, is what I should say. So yeah, but comedy songs in general, I just think like I just don't really like it. I know it's maybe I'm old fashioned, but I like music that I can listen to without feeling secondhand embarrassed. And
Mm.
a lot of the time, I feel like when you listen to these songs, you're kind of like imagine, you pass someone the aux cord and to your speaker, and they start playing some song about sausage rolls.
Yeah,
No, no, it's not good.
and the fact that they've done this 2 years on the bounce,
Mm.
they are literally going to equal the Spice Girls record of doing it 3 years in a row. Of course, the first one was We Built This City, We Built This City on sausage rolls.
Yeah.
And then last year, it was I Love Sausage Rolls.
I love sausage roll. So okay, that's the same joke in two goes though,
And
because
now
it's
this
rock
year
and
is
roll. Is it
uh
Don't Stop Me Eating?
yeah,
Yeah.
and they've got
See
They've
again,
they've
yeah.
roped in Ronan Keating to do a cover version. I mean, come on,
Yeah.
we live in a day and age, and this is going to be controversial. We've spoken about this before, that the Fairy Tale New York has never been Christmas number one, and yet they get back to back Christmas number ones, and they want a hat trick. It's
Yeah.
genuinely hurts a piece of my heart.
No, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I agree with you. And part of it is in general, like I say, I'm against these parody songs of just, especially a lot of the time they're not. I find they're not creative. It's kind of
Mm,
just, it's just, and as evidenced by the fact they took the word rock and roll and replaced it with sausage roll twice in a
yeah,
row, and that was a joke. So yeah, no, I agree with you. Lad Baby is cancelled.
delightful.
But as for me, I'm going to be cancelling something which, there are so many things it could cancel, but I'm going to be cancelling the EU referendum. And maybe I could have done this more towards the New Year's, but it's on my mind right now, and I was thinking about, obviously we're going to have this issue where we crash out without a deal on the 31st on the New Year's. That's going to be fun. Like imagine that you're literally counting down to just everything being completely screwed. But the issue I have with the referendum is I was always against it from the beginning because I always thought, this decision, it was too complicated for just the average person to make a choice on. Like, I believe you can have referendums, but referendums should be on like things that don't really matter. Because I feel like lots of people they have this idea that if there's a really big decision, there should be a referendum. I
Yeah.
think it's the opposite. I think the average person is kind of stupid, so really we should just have referendums for really small decisions. Like if we're going to have a new postage stamp, that should be a referendum. Whether or not we leave a sophisticated economic union of 27 countries with no mind towards exactly what deal we're going to get or anything like that, that you just put that up to a public vote, I don't agree with it. And I think it was a terrible decision, doomed to fail from the start.
From 2014 to 2017, we had four big votes back to back. We has the
Yeah,
um
Scottish.
the Scottish referendum, which of course they remained in the part of the United Kingdom. Then we had the general election in
Yeah,
May 2015. Then we had the EU referendum, and
yeah.
then we had the general election of 2017.
At least we got a break in 2018 or
Exactly,
2019, where we then had another general election.
exactly.
Oh
I
dear.
mean, I guess for journalists and reporters, it's nothing short of easy content. But I guess for everyone else who just is fed up with it, was it that old woman? I think it's from Bristol.
Oh
She
yeah,
goes,
not again.
"Oh, not another one."
Yes.
Is my best impression of that. I mean, the thing is with the EU referendum, and certainly 2020 is certainly um, forgotten about Brexit in some regard because we all remember
Yeah.
on the 31st of January we were all singing Odes to Joy at 11 o'clock when the UK, I guess, officially went into the transition period of Brexit. And here we are now, what, at our time of recording, less than 7 days away from the end of 2020 and where these issues will come into effect. Now, we've discussed on this podcast before where, whether these issues will be mitigated and will be alleviated with what's going on with the pandemic. But
Yeah.
I think 2021 is going to be a it's going to be hell.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's going to be. Who knows? Like, it's just so crazy exactly how, and especially seeing as I don't know. Like, I guess the other reason is because obviously, with Christmas, it was cancelled. Obviously, it's been in
Mm.
terms of going out and shopping is so much more difficult now. And then on top of that,
Tier 4 life, baby.
yeah, exactly. Now there are issues with getting in certain produce because of all these issues with lorries being backed up and that kind of stuff. And you just think, yeah, don't approve. So, yeah, screw the government, man. Cancelled.
Cancelled indeed. I think that was two very quick back-to-back
I know, yeah.
cancellings there.
We did a good job. It must be because you're running late, so we've got that idea in our head to rush, even though we've recorded this late before. But well, actually,
Let's not
it's
open
almost
the
dinner
window
time.
into our programming, huh?
No, yeah, you're right. Yeah, we'll just pretend we're always everything we do is completely meticulously planned out. No,
Yes.
no problems here. Uh, Now I've got some news for you, Luke. I
Yes.
should say, by the way, we don't have any. We didn't have any emails of things in to cancel. But to be fair, we didn't have. We got a big bump in subscribers last week,
I know.
thanks to some self promotion I did, which ironically ended. I left this in intentionally. The last sentence of the video I posted to my main channel was me saying, "We don't believe in self promotion here," because I thought people would appreciate that. But no, yeah, I think we've got more subscribers now. So this might be the first time that some people are getting this announcement that you can email in to our channel, to our email, and let us know what it is that you want to cancel. And that is on cancelcancelYT@gmail.com. That's CANCELCOUNCILCOUN. Yeah, that was right. Yeah, I was second guessing myself. COUNCILYT@gmail.com. One more time. That's CANCELCOUNCILYT@gmail.com.
We'll get there eventually. We'll
Yeah,
get there
so
eventually. And you can follow us
we need
on
to
social
record.
media at Twitter
Yeah.
and Instagram. That is cancel YT. That is CANCELCOUNCILYT. On Twitter and Instagram. Just going through our comments from our last video. Just two for our doing today. One from
I think they're both from the same
TFYFWYA
person.
that says, as an American, Squirty Cream was a really risky Google search.
Yes, that's actually, no. I could have mentioned this actually. So last week I cancelled Asda.
Yeah.
I actually, and I read the email, and she'll be delighted to know I actually got a £10 voucher from them. I do feel like a lot of the time these companies, they're just kind of like they're very willing to just throw money at it.
Yeah.
So I was just like, yeah. So I kind of feel like a lot of the time it's worth complaining
It's like a
because
slap
yeah,
suit. They'll just throw money to make people to go away.
exactly, yeah. That is it. They're just like, there you go. There's £10. I was like, yeah, sure, that's fine. That covers it. So yeah, basically, but that person obviously one of the problems I was complaining about is that Asda claimed that they didn't have any substitutions for squirty cream, and I was skeptical of that. And of course, in America, I guess what they call it whipped cream.
Yeah.
So yeah, or
Or
canned
or
cream.
or Cool Whip.
Yeah, Cool Whip. They have a cheese
Cool,
in a can over
cool
there.
Whip.
Ooh,
Say cool. Cool. Whip. Whip. Say Cool Whip. Cool
I'm
Whip.
gonna have to cancel Family Guy next week.
Don't you dare.
just to get rid of all the I don't know, it's completely ruined a generation of young men's humor. Because to be fair, I do it too. Like I quote Family Guy way too much. It's funny because I don't even enjoy Family Guy that much, but it is very quotable. It's a bit like
Mm,
Vines in that way. Like a lot of internet culture in general just isn't very funny, but it's very quotable. I've always felt
yeah.
that this is going to be a bit controversial. I've always felt that about Mean Girls. Like everyone says, Mean Girls is really funny. I've never found Mean Girls hilariously funny, but I do agree it's very quotable. And I think a lot of time people confuse these two things. But anyway, news. I've got 4 bits of news to you, 4 items, and it's number one: Twitch bans the use of the word simp.
Oh
Did you
no.
hear this news? Twitch will no longer allow streamers and commenters to go around calling one another simps.
Simps. I mean, we've discussed before about Twitch, of course, with Blind's playthrough. Um,
Yes, exactly. They're getting more
and so
progressive by the
they've
day.
done it again. I mean,
Yes.
it's Twitch. I mean, it's more people are tuning into Twitch than they are to YouTube. That is just the reality of how it is, and it's remarkable how you know it's gonna take off more and more. I mean, would YouTube ever make a move like that? Of course not, because it's a wider reaching thing. But yeah, it's
Yeah. Well, I think
simp.
Twitch also has more simps on it. I mean, the thing is, like, simps. I called somebody a simp once on my YouTube channel because
Yeah,
they were very upset that I'd responded to somebody, made a response video to somebody I liked. So I called them a simp. And I do think the thing is, simps. It's an actual thing. I watched Forrest Gump recently, and I
yeah,
was actually thinking I never had a word to describe Forrest Gump until recently, and the word is simp because he just like follows Jen A around while she's screwing everything
yeah.
up,
No,
and he's always there for her. You know,
yeah,
she go gets AIDS, he's like, it's okay, I'll marry you. You know, what
yeah,
a simp. So now we have this word, and to be honest, you know, like I think ultimately, if you're not ashamed of being a simp, then you shouldn't ban the word. You should just accept that's what you are. Like, because I understand there's some people who say there's nothing wrong with being a simp. There's nothing wrong with uh, shoving all this love and attention onto these weird female streamers or whatever. Well, if that's how you feel, then you shouldn't need to ban the word. If anything, this is them admitting that it is pretty lame to be a simp, but they're just kind of like, well, you can't make fun of me for it because Twitch will ban you.
yeah.
So yeah, I don't approve. Anyway, what's this
Just
comment?
I will just come back to the news. I want to come on to the comments of the clip video that you posted on your main channel.
Oh yeah.
Go and subscribe to King Critical if you haven't already. Johnny Bing Bong has really taken off in the
Yes.
comment section. Johnny Bing Bong came out as trans. You're brilliant. Thank you. Um, lol, I laughed so hard at Johnny Bing Bong. Um,
Yeah, we're gonna have to make Johnny Bing Bong a regular a regular segment.
Johnny Bing Bong should be our mascot. Um,
Yes. Oh yeah, that's not bad actually.
Elan Sleeves Bagano has said, brand new celebrity Elliot Page, who never existed before, did nothing, was in no movies at all, isn't related to any way to Ellen Page, just emerged from from the ether somehow and already has a huge following.
Yes.
Interesting comment there, Elon. Rubble of Empire says, I want Ellen Page to be cast as Dillian Roof in a biopic. It would piss off both communities to fabulous effect.
That's the kind of thing we love.
That
Just
is that is c'est magnifique. Uh, Archie says, weird that the website ellen.page is still up. Wouldn't you change the domain to transfer the site to prevent some psychological injury from being dead named? I don't
yes.
know.
I do. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, well, actually, I guess yeah. So Paige still works, yeah, but can't say. That's what she should have done. Should have changed her name to
Web.
Web page. Ah, terrible, terrible. No, yeah,
You know that is so terribly terrible. It's actually funny.
I know.
Endora says, what do you make of Eddie Izzard changing his pronouns to she and
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that's a question. I'll let you field this one, Luke, because you
so
know I speak about this a lot.
I've always been a massive fan of Eddie Izzard
Mm,
because what he's done, um, he's done it for himself. I mean, he ran the marathons by himself. He's written comedy and he's grown up in a way by himself. And then also with the way that he identifies, it's almost like Grayson Perry in a way, in the sense that so what he does what he wants. If he wants to wear makeup, wear heels, and wears a belt,
yeah,
then let him do it. I just can't stand it when people come out and say that I'm doing it for a purpose. Like it just doesn't make sense for me. Um,
yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. I kind of agree. Like Eddie Izzard, he has always felt like the kind of person who is just eccentric,
Mm,
and that was always interesting as a comedy thing. And ultimately, if it kind of feels like the whole pronoun thing, it's an interesting thing because in some sense it's like people can want to be called whatever they want to be called, but it's sort
yeah.
of like I don't know. I mean, pronouns sort of have a meaning, which is that you're a man or a woman, and ultimately, Eddie Izzard was a man who dressed up in women's clothing, and he was like a transvestite, and everyone was fine with that. And
Mm,
now he's decided he wants to be called a she, and it's sort of like, well, why?
mm.
It's like I don't really. It's just one of those things. It's almost like it's annoying. I always remember what Bill Burr said about Bruce Jenner, where Bill Burr was like, "You're not even allowed to acknowledge it. It's like this guy leaves a room and comes back a woman, and you just go like, so anyway, Caitlin." And that's kind of how I feel about it. Someone
Yeah,
leaves a
and
room, comes
also
back.
I urge everyone to go check out Believe, the Eddie Izzard story. It was made about 10 years ago, but I think it's
Okay.
still just as relevant. It's just a great documentary about his life, about his growing up, being born in the Middle East and then moving to Northern Ireland and just the way he came into
Just
comedy. I
from
think
conflict,
it's utterly
the Middle
great.
East to Ireland to just I don't know, like so
Yeah.
many conflict places. Anyway,
Just a couple more comments I want to read out. Straight
yes,
Boy Hole says this looks 2006 YouTube in a good way.
yep. It's
Thanks for
basically just a
that
way of saying
comment.
it's bad quality, but they don't mind, which is
I know.
great because we don't mind it either.
Dragon Fox, good job, Elliot. Another male actor who won't get any roles. Boring. Oh well, attention is all, isn't it?
Yes.
um, Another comment from Straight Boy Hole. Even if you're someone who'd be called TERF, you can recognize that Elliot could lead to male body positivity.
Oh yeah, yeah. I had a bit of a conversation about that because I thought it was interesting. But any other comments?
One more. Durikuka McNinja Six Gun. What's her name? Ellen Page
These
did the
names.
homophobe proud. She turned two lesbians straight by making one simple change. Another rich white male taking roles from women. Appalling. In all seriousness, this is a long comment. Uh, People were mad that they didn't rewrite Vanya to transition into a man. One particularly misogynistic trans woman on Twitter. They have a talking chimp and a boy who is 60 years old. Of course, they could make Vanya into a trans man as if that fits the universe or benefits the story of any meaningful way. Gerard Way shouldn't have had to rewrite his comics to suit an actor making an unforeseen change. Not to mention incorporating a trans plot thread would not have
Would
been
not be
received
received.
well. It was never intended. It would be hastily done and poorly handled. It would cause nothing but offence, which is not worth the risk, and since the show is doing pretty well as is.
Yeah, that's actually, you know what? It's funny. That is foreshadowing of the story I'm going to be closing on
Mm,
today because I'm going to be closing on it because I've got something else to say about it later on. But yeah, basically that idea of having to, and you do see that kind of idea of obviously controversy around when, well, a lot of the one thing is when cis people play trans people or whatever else, and
yeah,
then of
yeah,
course yeah decided if a character is trans then the or sorry if an actor is trans and the character they're playing has to be trans, things like that. It's just yeah, it's unnecessary really.
what was your
Yes.
thought on Eddie Redmayne playing
Yeah.
a woman,
uh I mean I always thought it's kind of a
the
funny
Danish girl?
situation. Yeah, because obviously I remember Coronation Street where you had the character of Haley who
Yeah,
is supposed to be a trans woman but played by a actual biological woman. And it was kind of funny because if anything, that was actually you could make an argument that was more progressive because it's like oh it's it's presenting trans women as just like regular women by literally having a regular woman play a trans woman. Whereas of course in the Danish girl scenario it's a biological man playing a trans woman. So I don't know if they're more offended by which one they're more offended by a cis woman playing a trans woman or a man playing a trans woman. But ultimately it's one of those things where you just think he's an actor so he can
mm,
play whatever. That's kind of what it comes down to. It's a bit of a a bit of a long intro to a very small point, but he's an actor. There it is.
yeah, for sure. So let's have some more news headlines, Michael. What else have you got for us?
All right, I've got so three more. Number one, R&B star Akon's
Oh
new
no,
$6 billion smart city in Senegal will offer a second home for the African diaspora. So he's going to be
diaspora.
Sorry, yeah, I'm not smart. No, he's going to be building this. It mentions he's known for hits like "Smack That." He's going to be building a 2,000 acre metropolis, and with its own cryptocurrency, a coin. And I'm trying to think where it said this, but it basically said one of the guys who is funding it, who's providing $4 billion of funding, is a Nigerian businessman who is well known for not actually funding the actual providing the actual money that he said he would. I think it's Mwale Medical and Technological City has also invested 4 billion. The contribution could be noteworthy for more than one reason. Mwale has a history of being sued over allegations that he has failed to repay debts. That's the line right there. So it's going to be provided by this Mwale guy, and they've been sued over the allegations that they failed to repay debts. So in other words, $4 billion of this new city that's going to be built for Africans all over the world is going to be funded by these people who apparently don't ever cough up the cash. So what do you think about this? Do you think this Acon City will be successful?
Lonely.
Yes, it'll
I'm
be pretty
Mr.
lonely.
Lonely. I am so lonely. All on
All
my
right.
own.
Oh dear.
I mean, when you just said the word Akon, I knew it'd be a ginormous fail, and that I guess even in this day and age, anything that he will produce, Kanye West will try and claim it. I mean,
Well, actually, yeah,
that's
Kanye is the crazy. Yeah, Kanye is basically
no,
like
no, no. You're saying it
Akon's
wrong. It's
diet Kanye.
Ye,
Sorry, Akon is diet Ye. Like
Ye.
basically, he's not quite as crazy. Yee, sorry, Yee. Oh dear.
And the cryptocurrency. I mean, I've discussed with business people and entrepreneurs and the like, and it's such a hard call to say whether it will be more of a thing than it has been over the last 5 or 10 years. But
Mm,
I guess we're from England. We're the Bank of England is sort of in our DNA.
yeah,
So it'll take a long while to replace pound coins and notes. That is certainly for sure.
yeah, but you can't beat Acoin. Next, we've got. I like this one. The New York Times admits serious editorial failings over Caliphate podcast, and this is the New York Times failed to corroborate sensational claims made by a Canadian fantasist who represented himself as an ISIS executioner in Syria. The horrific account of Shahroze Chowdhury that formed the backbone of the award-winning podcast series Caliphate were deemed by the review not to have met the paper standards and followed widespread institutional failings including in senior editorial oversight. So basically, the story is that this guy pretended to be an ISIS executioner, and the New York Times ran a podcast based on the assumption this guy was actually an ISIS executioner, and it turned out it's all a bunch of nonsense, and he just made it all up. What do you think about this? Do you think it shows journalistic integrity?
I mean, come on,
Mm.
it's pretty damn funny.
Yes, exactly. That's the good thing about it. It's funny, and I think it's a
Have
nice
you
little
seen
prank.
Borat 2 yet?
No, I haven't actually.
You make that as part of your Christmas viewing because it's sort of on a similar line of how you can really, no matter how big you are, how famous you are, once you get embedded into the trenches, you can really disguise yourself and highlight failings and the issues. Um, that is certainly true. That's certainly apparent.
Yeah. And the final bit of news for you today, and this is getting into a nice little discussion. I was thinking, Marvel confirms Guardians of the Galaxy's Star-Lord is bisexual. And obviously, I was saying this relates to the idea of a character in a comic book being transgender.
Yeah.
But this is slightly different. They are bisexual. However, there is a significant situation here, which is a significant context that Chris Pratt was recently subject to cancelling over the ultimately suspicion that he might hold to homophobic views. And when you've looked at, which is to say the view that being gay is a sin, because of the church he's associated with. And when you look at a lot of the Twitter comments on this idea of Star-Lord being bisexual, a lot of them are saying that this was done by Marvel and therefore probably by Disney in order to try and push Chris Pratt out of the franchise, because there's a thought that maybe he'll not like it, and they've basically done it to spite Chris Pratt,
Yeah.
because maybe he'll feel uncomfortable about that. And this leads me on to the thing that I'm cancelling today. Second thing, and I'm going to do what you did. Of course, you mentioned Roald Dahl,
Yeah.
and you said it because you thought it was a thing which is currently being cancelled, and you just wanted to open a discussion about should they be cancelled. And I'm going to do the same for Chris Pratt. So, what do you think about this whole situation with Chris Pratt, and perhaps this story more specifically?
Now, I don't know much about the MCU. I'm the first to admit that, because, quite frankly, they don't interest me. I
No,
watched
yeah,
Avengers Assemble and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 just for Dave Bautista, the
oh
former
yeah,
wrestler who would
yes,
kick seven bells out of other men. That was my thing. But as far as I'm aware, quote me if I'm wrong, sexuality doesn't really come into MCU when
no,
all they're
yeah,
doing is chasing some stones. Um, so
yes.
I don't know how they're going to incorporate bisexuality into the story.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, obviously people do form relationships, so maybe they want Chris Pratt to shack up with a man, maybe a man and a woman. I'm sure he'd love that. But no, yeah, this is my issue with the whole idea of Chris Pratt being homophobic, and it's this. I think it comes from a a very real misunderstanding of churchgoers in general.
Yeah,
And I want to give a little bit of background here, because I understand you're Catholic, right?
supposedly.
Yeah, okay. I wasn't sure. I know you like to be Irish, so but obviously the thing of, I know that's your thing. You
Whoa,
like being
whoa,
Irish.
whoa. You
You've got
just
that. I
went
can
from
see that clover
Catholic
behind you.
to Irish in a sentence. I'm
Just
amazed.
there we go. Yeah, Catholic, Irish. No, yeah, but basically, the thing is, if you aren't Catholic and you are a Protestant,
Hmm.
then one of the issues you're going to encounter is that uh, your beliefs about how a church should be or how a church should be run are not just going to line up with a massive institutional church. Rather, you're probably going to have a lot of your own individual beliefs,
Mm.
and there's going to be various churches all over the world which may or may line up with that to may or may not line up with that to differing extents. And I was thinking about how, for me, as somebody who used to go to church before this whole coronavirus thing went crazy,
Mm.
at this point I've pretty much given up on it entirely. uh, you can't be infinitely picky, because apart from anything else, like, one, you've got, okay, theological matters, okay, fine, and obviously that should be an important thing. But then also you've got the simple matter of, well, obviously you've got things like practical matters, like how close is it, how easy is it to get to, and then of course you've got what are the services like. I went to a church one time because I thought, theologically I was pretty on board with them, and I got there and they just sang solidly for 40 minutes. And the worst thing is, they did this thing, and this is like an absolute deal breaker for me with a church, the thing where they stop singing and then they start up again. They have like these fake
Yeah.
outs where it's like, da, 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 da. And they just like start doing it again. I'm like, nope, I can't do it. And the point being that, taking all of these things into consideration, at the end of it, the opinion that a church might have on is people being gay okay, is
Mm.
not that high up on my list of priorities. Not least because I'm not gay, and Chris Pratt isn't gay. So to be honest, even if it was shown that this, I think it's Hillsong, and the argument, this is the crazy thing about it, it's that he belongs to Hillsong USA,
Mm.
and they, I think, are pretty much mute on the subject of being gay. But a sister organization in Hillsong Australia
Yeah.
is critical of people being gay. It says people being gay is wrong,
Yeah.
and that's being considered an argument that, well, oh, he wouldn't go to this church unless he himself hated gay people. But
Yeah.
that doesn't make any sense, because it's possible that he's going to that church because he's got friends and family there. Like, the reality is that it's very self-centered, I think, to just be like, well, the only reason he could be choosing to go to this church is because of his personal opinion on my identity. The reality is, I'm sure there's like a billion other things to it. So yeah, I just think it's based on a misunderstanding, and that's why I wanted to. So I guess if I'm canceling something, obviously my main argument here is that Chris Pratt shouldn't be cancelled. But if I was canceling something, it would be this assumption that the most important thing for any given Christian is their church's opinion on identity politics issues. Like ultimately, there's loads of people out there who might belong to churches that have all sorts of weird opinions, but as long as they actually enjoy, it could just be a matter of they enjoy the people there or whatever else. That's not going to be their top priority. Get over it, snowflakes.
do you want to open up a can of worms about Hillsong?
Okay, I want to hear a can of worms about Hillsong.
Obviously, I don't know whether you are aware that there is numerous allegations made against Carl Lentz over his cheating scandal and about the culture that is being grown since 2018. And that they're not as squeaky clean as we thought.
I'm not, to be honest, I'm not surprised. Although I was actually thinking about that recently. The one thing I was thinking about when it comes to like these allegations, particularly about like sex stuff, is that I was thinking, actually, I think a lot of the time, if an organization did come out and say like, yep, there was some sexual dodgy things, whether it's sexual abuse or like sexual affairs or whatever else, if they come out and say, yep, well, we found out about it, and the minute we came to you, or sorry, the minute it came to our opinion, our knowledge, we're immediately revealing it. I feel like in a way they'd still get a lot of really negative pushback, which I think is a problem, because obviously what you want, the reason why people are against, like, for example, the Catholic Church or many other organizations, it's not just Catholic Church, but many other, especially religious organizations, is because they keep it secret. They try and like hide it. And the argument you should logically make then is, well, if they didn't hide it, if they just came out and revealed it as soon as they found out it was true, that therefore they'd get away with it. But to be honest, I do wonder at this point in our society, especially with all this cancelling going on, I feel like it could be a case that if an organization did come out and say, yep, we had some sexual abuse issues, and the minute we found out about them, we fired the people involved, and we're coming out now and stating it and saying that there were some issues and blah, 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 people would probably still be really annoyed, which is silly, because when you've got a massive organization, these things are going to happen. The only thing you can reasonably expect is for them to deal with people involved. And I would not be surprised if Hillsong didn't deal with the people involved immediately, and that's probably the issue. But I do wonder to what extent, like, when you find that that's happened, you're kind of just screwed, which is, obviously it's inevitable these things will happen in massive organizations like this.
Yeah.
Just how it is. So the trick is accountability. That's
So back to the topic at hand. Chris Pratt, should it be cancelled?
Do you think he's the best Chris? Do you think he's the worst Chris?
I'm going to say no. I think from what you've presented to me, I think there's not enough to convict him of being cancelled, I'm afraid.
But here's a question, okay? Out of Chris Pratt, Chris Pine, Chris Evans, and is that all of them? I feel like there's another one. I can't think who. So I'm just going to pretend. I feel like there's another Chris who's like Chris Hemsworth. Wait, did I already say him? I don't know. Oh no, yeah, Chris Hemsworth. Yeah. Which one do you hate the most? That's a tough one, isn't it?
It's a tough one because I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because you don't have an opinion.
Yeah.
Me neither. No, see, that's the thing. That's actually what kicked off this whole everyone hating Chris Pratt thing. Someone was just like, out of the 4 Chris's, which one do you hate? And those people were like, oh, well, I don't like Chris Pratt, and then it just steamrolled. Anyway, what are you cancelling?
I'm cancelling another public figure, a more British name, Lawrence Fox.
How could you?
The drama actor turned political activist. I mean, Lawrence Fox. I mean, I don't know what his issue is.
Yeah.
But for some reason, for 2020, he's sort of become this political figure and this liberal leader of the Reclaim Party. And now all of a sudden he's now a political. I don't understand it. Why didn't he stick with what he knew?
Yeah, it's really weird. Like this whole Lawrence Fox, I will admit, I see him mentioned, and for a minute when you said it, I was trying to even think about like what I knew him from. But yeah, I've seen him kind of go crazy, and just because obviously it all started in really like I mean it's pretty much he's been doing it for all of 2020, and it's just a case of like he it's hard because I feel like there's an association now, especially now that people like Yi, as you like to call them, have come onto the scene, that whenever an actor has political opinions, uh, there's a sense of like they're just crazy, and it's kind of unfair because it's sort of like lots of people have political opinions despite not being experts. Like for example, it's entirely possible that there are actors out there who are every bit as politically informed and clued in as you and me, and obviously we have political opinions.
Yeah.
So, but whenever an actor comes out and does it, there's just an immediate part of you that's like either they're cynically doing it for attention, or like they're crazy because these actors, they're all eccentric weirdos. And
Yeah.
with Lawrence Fox, I'm kind of in the on the side of yeah, he's just a crazy person. And I don't know, maybe I guess the thing is now he's obviously started this party, this Reclaim party. Who knows? Maybe we'll actually see him putting out some serious policies, and we can go, well, at least he actually, I would, I would like to see what he does. I mean, I doubt that he and I would agree on too much, but maybe I will be able to say, I would like this. I would like, as a kind of rational centrist, that maybe I'll be able to say there's at least one policy. I'll be able to go, yeah, I think that's a reasonable policy. If he can
Yeah.
achieve that, I will be satisfied. But for now, I would say that he should be cancelled.
To see Lawrence Fox become the next Trump in this
Yeah, well,
country.
yeah.
2024, he runs for he runs for prime minister.
No, yeah, exactly. I mean, 2024, we're going to have the American and British elections lining up almost like only months apart if it's going to be in December again. I mean,
Yeah.
you never know what's going to happen. It's very optimistic to assume that the election won't be until 2024 because you have no
and
idea.
Donald Trump will still won't have claimed the defeat in the election.
He'll probably be running again in 2024. It's like a
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah,
Well, those have that has definitely been cancelled, and 3 out of 4 for this episode. Don't forget, if
yes,
you want to come in with your cancelling issues, do email in at cancelyt@gmail.com. That is cancelcancelYT@gmail.com.
and
Follow us on social
Twitter.
media, on Twitter, on Instagram, and on Facebook. It's CANCELCOUNCILYT. That's CANCELCOUNCILYT.
ELCOUNCILYT.
So go check us out there, and leave us some comments as well, and we'll read them out
Yeah.
as well. Until next week, I guess this is our unofficial Christmas special, but we haven't been going long enough to declare it as such. I've been
Yeah.
Luke Anthony Walsh. That has been Marco Brown. Merry Christmas to you all. Speak to you next week.
Back at you.